Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Hey, I really, it's such a pleasure to be able to speak with someone and get some advice.
You got it. Well, it's an honor to talk to you today. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Oh, thank you. I'm calling to get some advice on retirement, please. I'm 66. My husband, 67, and he's an automotive service director. So we do okay, but as you know, California is so expensive. We bought a home, and it appreciated in value, luckily, so we have a little bit of equity, but we still owe $300,000 on it. I mean, and we didn't buy it at a high price. You know, the thing is, we're still paying it off. He's working. I teach school. I'm not working right now, but I thought maybe it would be a good idea to move out of state and, you know, get somewhere less, and I could work, you know, as a teacher. Maybe I'm older, so it's hard to get a position. I already had an offer in Texas. I'm certified there for fourth grade. I turned it down because we were here, and I don't know. He just refuses to think about retirement. We have no savings. He's thinking he's going to get Social Security, keep working, put that money into the house payment. I said, well, what are you going to live on? Yeah. You know, I thought maybe we could start a little business, like I'm not talking a dealership. I told him, because he said, oh, yeah, you have money for that. But I said,
well, I like the idea of you guys.
A coffee shop or a daycare.
Sure.
I like the idea of you guys moving out of an expensive area like California, because the truth is that's a cost of living you may not be able to maintain, but maybe living somewhere less expensive. You mentioned Texas. That could, you know, depending on the part of Texas, that could be good.
The problem about living in Texas is you're going to have to figure out how to spend that extra money because there's no state income tax there.
Hey.
I don't know how you're going to spend all that, Julia.
But there's a very high property tax.
Yeah, they do. I know. I know. There's the other side of that teeter-totter, but I just like taking my digs where I can get them.
I don't know. The thing is, he's also afraid that he won't be able to get a home at our age.
I know.
That he won't get a job.
Well, let's look at the facts. Like, let's look at the money, because right now it's like a bunch of question marks around our head. So you mentioned that he kind of has this plan of living off Social Security. Do you guys have any clue? Like, you're 67 or he's 67, so you're eligible. But if you begin taking it now, obviously you're taking it at a cut as opposed to waiting. So when you wait and take that later distribution, do you know how much it'll be?
No.
Okay.
He's thinking about 35, a little less. Maybe.
Okay, so let's say it's 35. You know, you can check in and find out what you think, what that number is going to be on the IRS. But then let's look at your budget. And so it's really about taking these numbers out of the air and getting solid facts of what it will be. Can it work? If it doesn't work, how much do we need to be earning? Does that make sense? And I think that's going to give you a lot of peace when you can find the facts around it.
It won't work. You know, you're right. It won't work. I told him, what are you going to live on if you put all your money?
But do you know that, or are you guessing that? Julia, do you know, or are you guessing? Do you have a budget?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we need. So before we get off the call, we're going to set you up with Christian's going to pick up and get you an every dollar budget. And it's really just going to be you plugging in that income and then plugging in what you guys spend money on. You've got this mortgage. How much do you pay a month for the mortgage?
$3,000.
What? Okay, you're right. It's not going to work.
So, Julia, here's a common thing. I want you to know this. You're not crazy. Your husband's not crazy. Y'all are facing a very common dilemma that millions and millions of 60-plus-year-olds are facing, especially married couples. Is there's an ecosystem that has descended upon you the last 25 years, telling you that everything in your life is coming down. Everything's going to end. Yes. And you grew up in the era of Walter Cronkite and Tom Brokaw, folks that people trusted. And now that same ecosystem is telling you you're not going to have enough money, you're going to die, you got to move it all into silver and go. The whole world has shifted on your generation. My generation just assumes everybody's lying to me, even the people telling the truth. Your generation is stuck assuming these people are telling us the truth. It's all coming down. So number one, I want you to know your fear is okay. It's normal. But also, as Jade said, here's what you desperately need with your husband. You all need actual facts. Remember this line, facts are your friend. You have made up a story in your head that you're too old to be a teacher. That is false. My mom is in her 70s and she's still a college professor.
My dad's a teacher.
Wow.
He's
You
70.
can do it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just a story because when you were a kid, 60 years old felt like a million years. And now you're there. You're still fun, exciting. Your students love you. They could definitely use your wisdom.
No, it still feels like a million years.
I know. But listen, you and your husband, this idea of like, I don't know, I think Social Security, that's not enough. So instead of talking about, what are you going to do? We have to move. I want you to sit down and use this line with your husband. I need to know what our money situation is because I'm scared to death. Will you help me be less scared? And very few husbands will look at their wives when they say that and go, nah, I don't care. If you say, I need to know.
He thinks he's got it all planned, though. That's the
then he
thing,
needs to show you the plan. And if you use the words, I'm scared because I don't know the plan, I need to see the plan.
That's a good way to phrase it.
Okay. Because you're scared.
His parents were factory workers in General Motors. I mean, we grew up in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, of course.
So, everything was, I don't know, I want to say easy for lack of a better word.
Well, hold on. You grew up in Detroit just like I grew up in Houston, and you grew up in Detroit when it was all golden and great, and it all went away overnight. And I grew up in Houston where Enron was the greatest thing in the world until one morning Enron didn't exist. And so you have both of those things going on. That it's just going to all work out, and then you also have that like understanding in your nervous system. There's a day when the factory shut down.
Okay.
You gotta address that fear with him, and then it's a math problem. You want to move to Texas? You want to move to North Carolina? You move wherever you're going to move. Jade was right. You can't afford a $3,000 mortgage.
Houston. I applied to Houston. I got a call.
Listen, the world is desperate for great teachers, especially licensed teachers. So you're not going to have a problem getting a job. What you might have a problem doing is convincing your Californian husband to move somewhere else. So that's a whole different story.
And just remember, wherever you move, whatever housing situation you choose, you don't want that payment to be any more than 25% of your take-home pay.
That's right.
That's what's scaring the pants off you right now.
It's just too expensive. So we're going to send you every dollar. We're going to send you the budgeting tool, and we're going to send you Financial Peace University, the whole digital class. It's 9 lessons, and you and your husband commit to watching them together. And then you can sit down and talk about your plan together.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.